today we have one dumpster going out, one dumpster coming back. Right now I need to get this 10 off of here. I need to get the 15 on. This is going to a customer, and then a 20 will be coming back. I've already got a couple orders placed for the one for today and then one tomorrow. I've got a few other ones already scheduled out. So far we are off to a crazy July. I think this is going to be a record breaker, at least for July, and it's going to be awesome. So yeah, let's get it going. So I'm currently waiting for this customer to move the cars out of the driveway. They weren't sure where they were going to put it. And in the meantime, this whole morning since I started the truck and have been driving, my AC is actually working. Like, this is cold to the touch. Usually my AC for some time now, it works for 5 minutes and then it stops working. The clutch on the AC compressor does not start kicking in, and so the high pressure goes high and then the low pressure stays low, and it doesn't actually kick up and down as it cycles through. I believe the AC compressor is messed up and it's just not functioning. However, today we're actually getting some AC airflow. I'm loving it. This is a treat for me, but it's also on a really nice day. So I wish it would have been here the other day or later this week even, but yeah, hopefully this AC streak keeps on going. Alrighty, so this pickup I was supposed to do behind that little alleyway there, that is now not happening. They said we actually need to extend it a couple days, so he's gonna give me the exact day, whether that's tomorrow or Friday, and works for me. Yeah, we will go ahead and get into what this video is really going to be about. I just heard from my rental property here that they are raising rent again. Well, actually no, so they're raising rent on this single larger piece of area, 50 by 70, for the first time. And it is, I think it's almost $100 more. It's going to be like $760, $770, something like that. And that is now as much as my house payment, my mortgage. Right before everything went crazy in the housing market, I got a steal of a deal on my house in every way. House price, interest rate, all of that. And that's great. However, it is really hard to swallow more and more this rental space, and I'm not using all of it together. I definitely do have room to grow in it, but I really just, if I'm going to be spending $500 plus, $700 plus now on a piece of land, I'd rather own it than rent it, if at all possible. Get some equity, get something out of it, be able to do whatever I want to do on there. So today we're going to be driving around to a few different places. I have not been to any of these places. I've been looking online. I think they're all within my price range, honestly, to where the mortgage for just the piece of land would be a matter of a couple $100. Like, I would be saving $500, very close to that, with more or just as much area. So we're gonna check that out. So I'm over here at the first property I wanted to check out. I looked at a few pictures on Zillow, and there's some aerial view stuff, but it's always important to actually show up in person before you get too involved or too excited or too whatever. I'm currently across the little road here from the property, and this is what it is. Basically, from this little smaller clearing here, which turns into a ravine down to the creek, and then it's just all trees, the entire place. On the some of the pictures that I saw, it looked a little bit more open. In the aerial view, I don't know if when the image was taken, but it did not look as green and as thick as this. What I was hoping for was a little bit flatter of a ground. I'm not even gonna walk over there. It drops down. I was hoping for a little flatter area to where I would have essentially a 50 by 70 place at least for me to be able to have dumpsters. And then if I wanted to, as time goes on, I do chop down some trees. I do cut some stuff down and use that to sell firewood. I've got a wood burning furnace in my house myself. And as I need more space, add to it. Well, definitely not gonna happen. This is not an option. This was 20 grand. And honestly, I don't know who in the world would buy it, and I don't know who's selling it, but not interested. They said it's technically the county. The property cannot have a structure on it, but you can do camping, fishing, whatever you want to do here. I'm like, dude, how? How, dude? What are you talking about? However, behind me though, on the other side of, can't really see it, but on the other side of this, there's a huge field and big open gravel parking lot and everything. So I'm curious. I think there's a business that's operating a little further down there on the other end of the mega parking lot. I'm curious if they would be willing to sell me a little fraction of this area. There's multiple. I'm sitting in a closed off entrance, basically behind me, and it is a massive place. I'm curious if they would be interested. Maybe they're selling this part of their land, or if they would honestly let me rent from them here at not $700, almost $800 a month. That would be nice. Get a 2 or 3 year contract or something and cut the cost in half, maybe. I don't know. First property swing and a miss for as far as I can see. Well, the second location turned out to be an even bigger fail. The images from Zillow were just a little deceptive. Showed up there. It's just an absolute mess. Definitely some forest area to the property, to the acreage on there, but there's just no way. I would have to do so much, and that's if this one was in a residential area as well. I didn't, in the pictures they didn't show that. You know, I literally just checked it out here recently, so I didn't do a whole lot of investigating. I just drive by and see if there's even a chance, and there's no chance with this location. So I'm currently off to the third one that I could even find. That's the other, you know, another bad thing. I guess a good thing if you're selling, but if you can find a place to even store your stuff, man, like at a reasonable rate, whether you own or rent. This is just what a troubling situation. And you know, I'm not in a mega area. I'm in a smaller city comparatively with a lot of cities out there. Staying reasonably close, not going 25 miles out of my way to go to a, you know, nearly a different little city or farmland or something, like if it's even zoned for commercial use, or if it's just, you know, agricultural use, or, you know, whatever it is. This may be even tougher than it was a year ago when I was poking around looking just to see what's even out there. You know, paying a couple $100 mortgage for these would have been potential. There's a reason why, and maybe that's just me again, you know, paying down some ignorance debt. You don't know what you don't know, and there's a good reason why these places that I've looked at here were priced the way they were priced, because you can barely do anything with them at all, and it's just nearly a joke. So off to the third location. We'll see if I can actually show that to you, and it's worth even talking about. But I was really hoping for some better options. but we shall see. Well, here we are. This is the third and last piece of property. I am pretty disappointed at this point. I went to the first location. It was close to a creek. Didn't realize it was basically a drop-off bank. There's no chance of clearing some of the forest that's part of the there's like 1.77 acres. There's no chance. It was not residential. I know that, at least. I don't know exactly what it was zoned for, but it is definitely not going to be a possibility for me. The second option that I just came from was actually, I think it's actually residential. The pictures were a little deceiving on the Zillow, and it definitely had some wood with it. But I got there, and dude, it was gonna take so much work, even if it was zoned correctly, for me to be able to do it there. It would have been in a decent location, but it was not gonna be pretty. Not gonna work there. And then this location. It looks like there used to be a house here or something here, and it is no longer here. Yeah, we even got the mailbox there. Kind of a small little triangle. You can't really see what's back over there, but this location, it has a 2-car garage that's actually behind my truck right now, off to the side here, and I'm assuming this is zoned residential. And I highly doubt I would be able to get it to be zoned for industrial, I believe is what I would need it to be. Yeah, a little disappointed. This was the only three options I could find, even online. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right space, but the only 3 for sale locations were these 3 places. I don't know what else to do. If you have any ideas, let me know, but seemingly the market, there's not a whole lot for sale, or if there is, it's going so fast, I'm not seeing it. The multiple times now over the last couple of years I've been looking for some land. Lafayette, Indiana, we've got West Lafayette across the river. We've got Purdue University. This is a booming town. It is growing and growing and growing. More and more development. Things are building out, definitely south of town, seemingly west of town a little bit. But I guess I'm either too spoiled, and I'm not looking far enough away from my house and the transfer station and whatnot, or there's just nothing for sale, dude. As crazy as that is. So let me know down in the comments below if you run into this, if you're currently in this situation where you can't find a place. Like I said, I am paying a house payment for a small 50 by 70 foot area that it's just unbelievable. Don't get me wrong, I can afford it, I can pay it, but do I want to? Like, that's the question I'm asking. If I don't have to, why am I doing this right now? Why am I renting, paying this much money to get 0 in return in any serious capacity? Being able to do everything that I want on the property, being able to have a little shed of some type, different things on a piece of property. And maybe it's just above my pay grade, and it is what it is. And I'm fine with accepting that, but this is an interesting lesson to be learning. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Little discouraging moment, but I'm gonna keep looking, keep hunting, seeing if there's anything I can find. I don't need a whole lot. I don't need a fully industrial everything lot. I'll take a slab, you know, not a slab, but I'll take a plot of land with some dirt on it. I don't even care. Like, I'll put some gravel, I'll put some stuff down and work my, you know, if I could find a place I could work into that as I need, as I have the ability to invest money into it, to turn it into something that I would want in the future. That's what I'm looking for, to grow into. So we'll see if that happens. Guys, have a great day. God bless. We'll see you.